What is going on, guys? They call me Ampy. Welcome to another video on the channel today. If you're new, consider subscribing. We're chasing that 100K mark, and I'd love to have you guys on the team. So, Modern Warfare is here, and a lot of people jumping into multiplayer and doing all the things, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of people have been struggling. It's been a bit of a struggle bus coming into this game for the first time. I mean, the beta played a certain way. Live, there's been some adjustments, and we're in this current situation where rushing is heavily punished. Like, it's not a situation that a lot of people want to be in, and a lot of concerns are being voiced on Reddit and throughout the community, and a lot of people not having fun with this game. So I wanted to talk about how we can improve some of that today. And it's really one simple solution, but it's a solution that you guys are going to have to decide if you want to make. And it really comes down to the fact that your playstyle is going to have to change. There's no way that you could jump into this game, pub stomping players, rushing throughout the map with your sub, and expect all the glory in the world. It's just not going to happen, at least in the current version of the game. And it's a really shitty situation because a lot of people prefer to play a certain way. But I want to talk about dialing some of that back just a little bit. You can decide if you want to play this way or not, or just drop the game completely. It's entirely up to you guys. So the first couple days of the game being out, I really struggled. You know, I was very much into rushing with a sub in previous Call of Duty games. And, you know, there's so many different ways to get shot in these maps, and that's a whole different discussion. But, you know, putting the maps aside, the rushing wasn't working, plain and simple. We all kind of understand that at this point. So I took it one step back, and I decided I don't really want to camp, but I'd rather hold down a section of the map. Some of you are going to argue that those things aren't mutually exclusive, and sometimes they're not. You know, sometimes you're going to find yourself in a situation where it is safer. You know, the smarter play is not to move because there's just too many angles for you to watch, and that's, again, the shitty situation of Modern Warfare at its current state. But I'm talking more about picking a section of the map that's easily defendable and making that portion of the map your loop. That is the loop you are going to run for most, if not all, of the map, as long as you can defend that spot. So think of it as your own personal flag in Dom or a hard point, and make sure that that is your position and that that's going to be the spot that is going to be yours for the entire game. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys how hard you're going to play this. It's entirely up to you, but I want to remind everybody that skill-based matchmaking is absolutely active, and everybody else is sweating their asses off, so you might as well too. I'm not going to sit here and say that claymores don't need a nerf, because they absolutely do. But for all intents and purposes of this video, we're going to be using them. We're going to be using shrapnel, restock, and we're going to ruin some fucking lives today. So prepare your inboxes and in-game chat, because you're probably going to receive some hate mail for this, but in the current meta, this is what's working, and I'm open to adjusting as Infinity Ward swaps some things out here and there going forward. So taking TDM on Maza, for example, spawning on the Allegiant side, you're going to want to take the left side of the map, or on the Coalition side, the right side of the map, and basically that whole portion of the map is yours. Defend it with your life. This is going to be the loop you run for the entire portion of the game, and I know you guys are in the comments right now, Amps, that's not fun. I don't want to play that way. Why are you forcing me to play this way? And I'll tell you what, seeing kill streaks and the KD rise and seeing progress happen for the first time since we started playing this game is just so much more fun to me than constantly rushing in and getting shot from 20, 30 different windows, you know? So try it for yourselves. Just let me know what you guys think. You know, seeing some progress and seeing your guns level up and actually, like, doing something other than dying over and over again just seems like the lesser of the two evils, you know? I don't know if two wrongs make a right, but in the current situation with MW, it seems like this is what you're gonna have to do, at least until we can get adjusted and see how this game really pans out for the long term. So as far as field orders are concerned, it's probably between Dead Silence or Stopping Power rounds. More for respawn, I tend to lean more towards the damage for Stopping Power, and given that I'm only hanging on one portion of the map and I'm not rushing around like a lunatic, I don't really use Dead Silence all that much, but if you're playing like Cyber Attack or Search, maybe I would recommend Dead Silence over Stopping Power, but it's entirely up to you guys. It doesn't really make a difference. But as far as weapons go, I'm still a fan of the M4. I'm not sure about patch notes. You guys could probably tell me better than I know, but the M4 is a great gun. It's still doing other players pretty dirty, and I'd recommend sticking with one weapon, whatever you end up using, just so you can level up through the entire process, because the weapon levels in this game are insanely high. So some people using the Kilo, I see some people M4ing, some people even still MP5ing, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, at the end of the day, M4, MP5, Kilo, these guns are doing the job. They're killing everybody in sight. Use these weapons. You'll probably find the most success. UAV, VTOL, support, chopper gunner, doesn't matter. VTOL is basically your new Harrier, probably not as lethal, but still works the best, especially since you're holding down a specific portion of the map. But I want to say 9 times out of 10, when you drop the VTOL, things are are in a pretty good spot. Like, people aren't expecting streaks because people are still adjusting to the game, and once people see streaks, they start freaking out. They don't know what to do. So VTOL is definitely my recommended. If you can't chase those higher streaks, make VTOL your ultimate goal for this, because I think it works the best, and it's really not that difficult to get, all things considering. So when you put all of this together, when you wrap all of this up in one beautiful or not so beautiful package, depending upon which side of this you're on, you get a loadout that's going to get you kills, doesn't necessarily plant you in one spot staring at a wall the entire game, because there are people that do that, and I'm not a fan of that in particular, but there are some exceptions to that rule while running this. But for the most part, it gives you some flexibility to move around, and you'll find that the more you do this, the better you'll get, and the more comfortable you'll be with adjusting and transitioning, because it's all about choke points and making more strategic moves when you decide to engage with somebody. And, I find this to be working very well. And the best thing about all of this is that as soon as you kill somebody in the same general area, maybe once or twice, it becomes their personal vendetta to come after you every single time. It's like free kills. They're feeding you kills, and I don't know what it is. It just, somebody gets so infatuated with your current situation. They want to get you out of that spot, and there's nothing they could do. As long as you're, being attentive and you're rotating accordingly, there's nothing they could do about it, especially if your VTOL's up. And it's amazing. I've done this so many times. You'll see that I kill the same people over and over again because they just keep coming. Now, I don't know if you're a Christmas noob who got the game on launch, or if you're just a veteran who's really fucking frustrated with this and you really want to get me out of that spot, but I'm not going to be the one to argue with free kills. And again, it doesn't always work, but as long as you're paying attention, you'll get better at this at time, that, you'll know where to go to escape a sticky situation. And it's worth pointing out, too, that you want to survive as long as you can, but eventually we're not running the perk that allows you to wrap your kill streak, so going to want to die eventually anyway, and you could pick up some other people's guns for some bullets, but eventually your streaks will run out anyway, so I guess it depends. It's entirely up to you guys. I couldn't really find a situation where I wanted to run that extra kill wrapping streak over what I have equipped right now, so you could run Specialist. It's just going to go all in if you'd like, but I found that I like having my VTOL up, and the thing puts in some work. So I guess the only downside to this is actually dying. Getting out of that spot, I found that trying to get back into that spot, especially since I've been there for most of the game, players are going to be expecting that. So getting back into that spot, it's basically like the roles have been reversed. So be very careful with how much you do use this, how much you stay in one general area, because any smart player, especially again with skill-based matchmaking active, is going to understand where you're going with this, and you can only get so many kills before somebody smarts up and actually outplays you, or you get double teamed, or the whole team comes after you, drops a streak on you. So getting put out of your spot is probably the worst thing that can happen, and to that I say, create a new spot, create a new demand, create a new flow, make people want to chase you. If you're not in a high traffic area, if nobody's coming after you, you're not going to get any kills, obviously. And the best way to get people to come after you is, since the minimap doesn't work the same way, and suppressors mean shit this time around, sure, you could shoot on the compass, and that might get some people's attention, but with all the UAV spam that's happening, the best way to get people to come after you is to not use Ghost. I use Ghost all the time when I'm running Search or Cyber Attack, but for respawn game modes, for people that are going to constantly come after me, not having Ghost and instead using double time restock as well as shrapnel, I think we're good to go. And to look at it on the flip side, when I have a UAV and I see somebody on the map that's not running Ghost, I think it's a newer player who has no idea what he's doing, doesn't know that Ghost exists, and I think I'm going to catch him off guard. In our situation, that poor bastard has no idea that he's going to get hit by a Claymore. You're going to be waiting with an alternate angle, and it's all good. Like, the person doesn't know that they're walking into a wall when you're really throwing them off. So if you have something to say about Modern Warfare, good or bad, drop it in the comments. Do you like this game? Will you play this game for another year? I don't know, man. Like, I think it's too early because we're still in that transitional period to see what the future holds, and maybe the development team can make some tweaks here and there to make multiplayer an improvement, but campaign was a great time, and Spec Ops is different but interesting at the same time. Multiplayer, sometimes it lacks that fun factor. Sometimes it's just not fun to play, and there are those games where it's going to happen to you, even while using some of the things I discussed in this video, you're just not going to have a good time. So, very much a fan of playing video games to enjoy yourself. That's why we play games to begin with, and it's very easy to get lost in all of the discussion and all of the rage and all of the changes when we're all just trying to have some fun at the end of the day. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to just jumping into a Call of Duty lobby, give me some banter back and forth between platforms, because cross-platform play has been absolutely fantastic. Kudos to the team for that, but the gameplay itself, we got to go back to that. We got to have some fun again, man. That's what I want for Call of Duty in 2019. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. Consider following me on Mixer to join up with the community while we do some stuff live. We have a lot of fun over there. I'll see you guys in the next video.